As you all know, Catholic Charities does remarkable work with the Refugee Resettlement Program. And it is a truly collaborative partner with organizations like Interfaith Works in bringing those who flee war and persecution, natural disaster and famine to the sanctuary of our community. It is because of that work and how much it has meant to our family that I am particularly touched to receive this award. So bear with me and I'll take a few minutes to explain. Simply put, if it wasn't for a Catholic charity, I wouldn't be standing here at all. You see, my great-grandfather grew up in the Roman Catholic Orphan Asylum on 5th Avenue and 51st Street in New York City, in a massive building next to where St. Patrick's Cathedral was then being built. The orphanage was founded and sustained by the Sisters of Charity, the religious order established by Elizabeth Ann Seton, not too different a history from the House of Providence, for whom this event is named, an orphanage founded in 1872 by the Daughters of Charity. In the pages of the 1870 census, you find row after row after row of Irish boys listed simply as the inmates of the asylum. Among those inmates was John Raleigh, 14 years old and the son of Irish immigrants who fled famine and degradation for the promise of America. I don't know how John came to the orphanage, whether his parents died or simply lacked the means to care for him. But John was well educated by the Sisters of Charity, and they gave him the opportunity to study, perform, and teach music, an opportunity that defined his life. 6 short years after the 1870 census, he took a job as the organist of the Church of the Annunciation in Ilion, and then 3 years later, with his new wife, Mary Giblin, followed the Mohawk River Valley to Utica to become organist at St. Patrick's and St. Francis de Sales. In 1891, he was named organist and choir master at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception here in Syracuse, and was an extraordinary supervisor of music in the Syracuse public schools until his death. He established orchestras in the city schools, and he was once quoted in the Syracuse Herald under the headline, "Professor Raleigh opposes jazz school music." He had standards, apparently. Along the way, he had 9 children, 6 of whom lived to adulthood, and 1 of whom was my mother's father. And that's how I got here. Over a century later, another young man came to Syracuse who has had a profound impact on the life of our family and who would not have been here without Catholic Charities. You've heard a little bit about him. Gabriel Baldang fled his village in Ariang in South Sudan when it was attacked by militia when he was just 10 years old. His story of survival took him through forests and desert and across the Nile to Ethiopia, and then to flee again, finally settling in the Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya, from which he was resettled to Syracuse as a part of Catholic Charities' refugee resettlement program. His indomitable spirit and the good work and guidance of many in this community led him to pursue an education first at OCC and then at Lemoyne College. Gabriel became a part of our family when he was a student of Laurie's at Lemoyne. He was the older brother who would help our son Chris appreciate and honor diversity and difference, and stood as an example of perseverance in the face of adversity. Many of you know Gabriel's story and have supported him as he built hope, raised funds, and built a school for boys and girls in his home village of Ariang. Gabe now works as an American citizen with the president of South Sudan, helping to build democracy, stability, and a future for that war-torn and famine-stricken land. We often think back to the day when Chris stood up with Gabriel's friends, many from his days in the refugee camp, each as accomplished and determined as Gabe, when Gabe married Liz Garofano. Liz now lives in Nairobi with their 3 children, waiting for a time when it will be safe to join Gabe in Juba. As they wait, Liz has taken in 10 members of Gabe's Ariang family who have sought refuge in her Nairobi home. So with the thought of selfless sacrifice that is epitomized by the work of Catholic Charity, for those who most need shelter from the storm, I'd like to dedicate this award to Liz, Gabe, and their extended family, and send our prayers for their safety and success. Thank you very much.